Justin Tomlinson.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and it's a real pleasure to follow my honourable friend for Gloucester. I do wish he had that magic wand, because I know he's a real champion of young people, and I've seen him firsthand doing a huge amount of work in his own constituency to create those opportunities that young people will often seize and benefit directly from. It's just a wonder how he has not yet made it as a minister. And I'm delighted to speak in this debate. NCS has gone a long way since the 2009 pilots. Nearly 300,000 young people have benefited from the opportunity, with 93,000 in 2016 alone. And I'm staggered that only 25% of MPs have had an opportunity to see firsthand the fantastic work that's going on in our communities. And I've had the pleasure of visiting every stage of the transformation. I have taken part on assault courses, I've been a dragon, I've been a mentor, I've taken part in dodgeball. I still haven't forgiven the 5-year-old who took me out within about 20 seconds. I've attended the graduation ceremonies, and I've bought a lot of cakes in the charity sales. And I visit this not just as an MP and as a local resident, but as somebody, a former employer who employed a lot of young people. And I was particularly impressed with the genuine, total transformation of the young people who had taken advantage of this fantastic opportunity. Many of the speakers have already highlighted many of those skills: team skills, the confidence, the public speaking ability. The Honourable Member for Redcar highlighted many of us could learn from some of those public skills being displayed. And to understand and to appreciate their local communities. And we have seen that that's led to a total of 8 million additional hours of voluntary work within our local communities, and that is fantastic. And also the maturity, building those life skills that are so important to transition from school into the real world, securing those first jobs. And when NCS's logo, which says NCS Yes, that is genuinely referring to the opportunities when they go to apply. And the other thing that I noticed by doing the graduation ceremonies is just how proud the parents are in the transformation of their children. How they talk about how nervous they were about signing, how even at the last minute they were still questioning whether this is the right thing to do. And I have to pay credit to the website that NCS has. Most things vaguely connected to the government doesn't do particularly well in terms of the internet and website presence, but the NCS website is fantastic. It's got all the FAQs, it's got success stories, it's bright, it's confident, it's enthusiastic, and you can see why those nervous youngsters do take that brave step to go and sign up for this course. Because what surprises a lot of people when you go and visit is you anticipate they all know each other. It was a class at a local college or a sixth form and they've all collectively decided to go. Well, actually, it's a random collection of people stepping outside of their comfort zone, giving up their valuable summer holidays to do something constructive. Yes, it's enjoyable, but often they don't realise how enjoyable it is till the end. Now, I want this to succeed even more. The ambition shown by our Secretary of State and our Minister, who are so passionate about the opportunities created, I want to see their passion fulfilled. And I have a few small requests. First of all, a number of speakers have highlighted how we'd all like to see every young person have that opportunity, but often they aren't aware of the scheme itself, and therefore there has been a problem in terms of promotion. But I welcome that in the Royal Charter that's planned, every young child will be written to. I used to love getting posts when I was younger. This is bringing back very happy memories, and that will set out all of the information and will give every single child that opportunity to sign up. And also I would encourage that that extends to go to the schools to remind them of the bursaries that are available, because I've spoken to a number of heads in my constituency to say what an opportunity would be for some of the children from more challenged backgrounds, and they weren't aware that there was a bursary scheme and wrongly presumed it was something that their children wouldn't be able to afford. Now, all of the speakers have highlighted some of the brilliant social action projects that have taken place, and I've seen some fantastic ones. But I do think NCS nationally needs to do a little bit more to build a database, because sometimes on some of the visits they have struggled to come up with meaningful projects. And the best cases are where there's a tangible link in the groups. I saw one once where a very confident young girl was presenting to me to say why they'd chosen the Swindon's Women's Refuge. And I hadn't appreciated the reason she was so passionate was at a younger time in her life, her family had to go and use that refuge. So she personally had benefited from this service, convinced her friends, her colleagues, that this is the one that they should put all of their energies into, and they have that extra incentive to go and make a difference. I also think there should be more information provided on how best to deliver those social action projects, because I've seen some fantastic ones where they've gone out, they've engaged with the business community, they've called in favours. The great thing about young people is they're very cheeky, and when deploying that with their endless enthusiasm and energy levels, they have had some very successful social action projects. But also sometimes I've seen some lost, a little bit confused about what to do, and have therefore missed an opportunity to really make a difference. And I would also encourage that wherever possible they bring in mentors to road test the ideas before they start to deliver the social action project. And there are countless local business people who would be more than happy to give up their time to support these fantastic aims. Finally, I also want to have a look at quality, because again, I've been visiting since 2012. As I said, I've seen every part of the process repeatedly, and I have seen some fantastic ones, and I've seen some less good ones. And I do have a concern that in recent years, with some of the changes to some of the contractors, that some of the staff delivering this have become a little bit too young. Initially, in my case, in Swindon, it was delivered by New College, it was delivered by Swindon College, the two well-established colleges. The staff that delivered it were lecturers who were sort of doing some additional work over the summer. They instantly had the respect of the young adults, which is a particular challenge at the beginning, as those young people haven't quite yet developed all of those skills that become a given by the end. And sometimes some of these younger staff struggle to hold the line. They're a little bit too integrated with those students, and it's really important we get that right. And the advantage of having those colleges involved is they've already got the buy-in of the students, and it's not a surprise that the numbers have fallen away since the colleges ceased to lead on this. And they also therefore lacked the local knowledge. So this is something that I think is vital. And I know it's complicated to not have a postcode lottery, but there does need to be some real deep thinking in the procurement exercise. And many speakers have talked about the £1,800 cost, and actually one of the challenges is actually finding facilities to use. And I don't really understand why, as a society where we have fantastic college and school facilities that are often empty during the school holidays, which is where the NCS courses take place, that we then see NCS providers having to pay to hire facilities when they could frankly be using the facilities that already exist without being charged, and that money then deployed to additional support within the programme.
With the honourable member.
Yes.
I'd like to thank my honourable friend for giving way, and some of his thoughts just echo mine, because when I see Katie Stockdale, who leads the Huddersfield Community Trust NCS, and they had 455 graduates last year, I think of the project at Beechwood, a care home, where they worked on disability access with local businesses, other local volunteers, and people donated wood and stone and fountains, that it was a project that had a lasting effect, and that trying to make sure that all these projects are highlighted, he makes a really, really good point about that.
I thank my friend. That's a really powerful intervention, because that highlights the real power, the real difference, and the real boost to the local community. And I'm delighted, and it's a credit to the team in the area that he represents to what a difference they're making. Now, finally, many of the speakers have been tempted to make suggestions of how we could tweak what was being doing, how we can empower people. The dreaded Brexit word was even mentioned. Please don't. Please don't do this. Don't ruin something that is working so well. There is nothing worse than when out-of-touch adults start to prescribe to what young people want. This is why the vast majority of youth clubs started to fail in this country, because right-on adults decided to prescribe what young people want to do. It's a success because they let students shape it. The NCS Youth Board is integral to what they deliver. They know best, they've done it, they're young, they still understand what young people want to. I know we're well-meaning, I know we're well-intentioned, but please let the young people decide how to do that. Our involvement is as mentors, is as supporters, is to showcasing that work, to highlighting it in the local media, to highlighting the very best that our young people can offer, and this is something that the parents are extremely grateful for.
Yeah.